in a part of the world you cannot afford to not have a certain level of education, because when people talk about education not being profitable and then you should do business, they look at people like Bill Gates, like
Yes.
These
Mark
rich.
Zuckerberg.
But before
In Ghana, they look at people like Kwame Despite, okay, and those people who we know, who have made it without necessarily being educated.
Our very own Kennedy Japan would say that there's no professor who is a who is a millionaire.
So
all these are true, right? But then Kennedy, I think in one of his interviews, he was talking about his life's journey, and then he was saying that at a point he wanted to pursue a master's, and then he realized that his business was more profitable than pursuing a master's. So it should tell you that even he had an interest in education.
But I've also
and
had
you can't with no background at all, you cannot pursue a master's.
Absolutely.
So it means there was some level, there was some foundational level that was very solid. That is why he wanted to pursue a master's. So I feel like there's a level of education that everyone must have. Everyone must have. Primarily.
I know my boss, Mr. Kwame Adumete. So he was I think he attended Tekwadi Polytechnic, and he pursued, I think, diploma in construction or engineering, something like that. Do you get it? And he was passionate about the construction thing. So after school, he practically engaged in it, and you can say he's a successful contractor. He has built so many, structures for government, for individuals, for companies, etc. But recently, he has gone back to school. And not long ago, he finished his engineering course.
Exactly.
And he's still furthering his education. Last time I had a quick conversation with him, and he told me that, you see, there are lots of things that he was doing in his business. He was just doing them. But he didn't understand the theory that was the anchor of those things that he was doing and the things that he was not doing and the impact that they were having on his business. But when he went to the classroom and he sat in the classroom, he was able to connect the theory to those practical actions that he was taking. So the understanding became very clear for him. Do you understand? And then he was able to, now understand. Okay. So scientifically, if you do this, if you do that, if you do this, you're likely to get these results, that result, this result, etc. So he was telling me that, yes, one of the difficulty of education is that a lot of the, especially for those who may be pursuing business-related courses, a lot of the cases, a lot of the examples that you are made to study are foreign examples. So they don't usually give you the local examples that are often much related or you can relate to. But he still thinks that regardless of that, when you glean through them carefully, you'll be able to appreciate a particular theory that maybe you may be doing them or you may not be doing them, but it can guide you if you translate it in a way practically in your business. So he says that education is good. But of course, education itself also have some lapses. And this very example that I cited is something that I think that we need to pay attention to, that when you are teaching kids, we still, you go to school, you've studied communication, I did as well. And some of the theories are really some jolly theory. Some old. I think that those aspects of the education, we need to come back and sit down around the table and ask ourselves some questions. Why is it that we don't have Ghanaian situation that can be relevant within the classroom? So that, because being able to relate to the things you are learning also aids understanding or appreciation. If I'm learning something and there's an example before me, and I can look at that example and look at the theory and connect it with the example within my comfort, it makes appreciation much easier. But if I'm always supposed to more or less try and understand that foreign example, which I may not have seen. I'm just trying to understand. I think that there's a difficulty in that, and perhaps our universities will have to make some adjustment in those areas. You wanted to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say that obviously the education system that we have in Ghana is not the best, but then we should still appreciate it. And then the thing you were saying about bringing concepts down to levels where people can understand and they can relate to those concepts, I think it's key. And fortunately for me, my dad teaches in the training college, so I know that the teachers, especially those going to the basic schools, they have a course that they take where they are asked to practically explain certain things, especially in maths, like addition, subtraction.
So you are able to break it down.
Yeah, if you are teaching a class 2 kid, if you are teaching a class 4 kid, how are you going to explain division to them? How are you going to explain subtraction to them? But then in any profession, there are good people and there are bad people. So there are good teachers and there are bad teachers. And I was even going to make a comment about the communication theory thing, because I had a lecturer who told us that, oh, this thing that I'm coming to teach you, I know that some of them are outdated, but then it is essential that you know, so that you can point out to certain scenarios and say that, oh, this is where this thing is coming from. This is where the psychological concept is coming from. So I think, well, they are trying.
But I think our lecturers, for you to become a lecturer in a Ghanaian university, primarily, you must have your PhD. And to do a PhD, it largely involves research.
Yeah.
Work on theories, concepts, propound it, do your research, prove it, whatever. Are we saying we cannot, as part of our research that we conduct, find a Ghanaian example of whatever we want to teach? A Ghanaian theory, concept, something that has worked within the Ghanaian context, and then take it to the classroom and teach the kids, or teach the students that, okay, this is so because I think that we if care is not taken, we become accustomed to the fact that to teach you must necessarily use these examples or these concepts or these research works that have been done years before. Do you understand?
Yes.
Meanwhile, the world is changing.
Yes.
Things are changing.
Yes.
Ghana is also evolving. Situations are happening. Things are happening. These are things that you can research into, bring it to the classroom for all of us to judge or to practice. I think that it's a part that possibly, because, you know, some of us who were in the field before we went to school, I sit in the classroom, I'm like, Charlie, I'm telling you, a lot of the things I'm doing practically, and a lot of the things these people are teaching me, there's a disconnect.
But I think they are trying, right? I want to maybe say thank you to the lecturers that I had in KNUST, especially to one lecturer. His name was Dr. Peter Sarkodie.
Okay.
So he did very well, and then he was very practical when people had issues with him, but I mean, I personally think that
liked him.
Yeah, I personally think that he was very practical in his approach. And then there was a point, I think when I was in second year, there was a point where we studied Kofi Kinata's song.
Oh, you did? That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
There was a point where we did that song. We did Kofi Kinata's song, and then the man came to explain to us that there are poems that we are doing 18th century poem, and we are doing Shakespeare, we are doing all of these things.
But we have
good writers. So there was a point, I think second year, I'm not so sure, second year or first year, we studied Kofi Kinata.
Okay.
Studied
but that would be fun.
Yeah.
Imagine the excitement in the classroom, and imagine how people were able to relate. Do you understand?
The song that says "Part-time Christian."
That's song.
Yeah. It was a literary this course that we had to study. So I think they are trying. There are some academicians in Ghana who are really pushing to change how things are done.
You're right. Myself, I had a lecturer at Christian Service University. You know, I was very terrible at math. In fact, I am. I didn't like it. There are certain courses that, so for instance, if I'm learning science, and a lot of the things that I'm learning, I can't relate to, and my difficulty is to chew baba. I can't do that. It's like my head will be achy because I want to understand. That's my problem. I have to understand the thing, and then when I go, me now, you get it. So math was a big problem for me. I've always thought that no, maybe me, I'm not born to understand mathematical. So in fact, when I was at senior high school, some of the classroom sessions I won't even go because I know that I can go. I'll say, oh, Janice, today this math concept, I'll grab it, go and sit in the front. You know when they start the math, no? For the first part, you understand everything perfect. Then they'll get in the middle. And you're like, how did we get here? Where did we come from? How? You're confused. Everything.
I understand what you're saying.
So I was like, no, maths maybe it's not for me.
I understand.
But when I got to the university, there was a lecturer, Mr. Eche, who taught me quantitative analysis or something. Then it was like I was enjoying maths.
Exactly.
I could come back home and I was like, when I'm bored, I want to pick the maths and just solve it and be fun and be excited. So I'm like, how did he let me love the thing that I used not to like?
Whether or not you like a particular subject depends largely on the teacher, the kind of teacher that you would have. One of my mates, he's in the US now, and then he was telling me that, right now he's reading cybersecurity, something.
I see,
like,
and you were surprised.
I was very surprised.
Like this guy didn't.
He was telling me that when we're in JHS, he was not good. He was very bad at math.
I was terrible.
If a teacher wants to beat someone, they'll just ask him a question and they'll beat him. Hey. And then he was saying that he doesn't think he was ever bad at math. He just thinks when we're in JHS, he was very scared of the teachers. So even before they ask him the question,
he knows teachers too. Maths and French. I don't know.
He knows he's going to get it wrong.
It's like they know the Charlie. So now he's doing something close to that. And he's comfortable.
Exactly.
So our teachers, please, we beg you. Don't scare us because all the subjects, the way you teach them. Charlie.
Maths and French and science.
When we have maths on Monday, it's like, the world is about coming to an end.
I used to like French, and then I changed.
Me ask for French there. Mary's is here. French.
And then
I think the last time you saw my result, you saw the French. I nearly, Charlie, it was serious.
I changed schools, so. And so when I went, it was a new school. That was my first day in the school.
Okay.
And then they said Miss Way is coming to class.
Gosh.
Then Miss Way said they are coming to do
Miss Way
quick oral test.
Gosh.
And Miss Way said we should conjugate the verb et.
Conjugation.
The verb to be. Then Miss Way started ripping them. Then they got to my 10. They are like, she's a newcomer. She's a newcomer. Miss Way said, get up. Didn't they teach you this in your old school? Even the man beat me. That was the end of my laugh of French.
No, French teachers, they are something else. So you're right that the way that some of the subjects are taught, we need to have a rethink about them. And the other thing too is the blueprint we used to, the teachers themselves. I don't know the training they are given.
Yeah.
Maybe it comes from there as well. Do you understand? Maybe they are taught that for the Ghanaian student, you have to appear to be. You understand?
No. I think, once again, I know this because my dad teaches in the training college.
Which is good. It helps the conversation.
You see how when the WASI results came and then we're talking about why we are seeing these kind of results, there were interviews that were had and they kept on saying that the quality of the students that they are receiving from the basic schools have decreased. It's the same thing for the training colleges too. So I think we should really revisit our basic education because now I think across the board, even universities, training colleges, SHS, they are all complaining about the caliber of students that are coming into the system now. So I think we've paid much attention to our secondary school education. We have paid much attention to our tertiary level education, and we've neglected the basic schools for long. So I think we should revisit the basic schools because something over there is not.
Something is not right.
It's not. There. Yes, and my dad was telling me that one time he had a student that the students couldn't write his name. But the person had passed WASI.
Are you sure?
Yes. So it's like some people can even forge their WASI results and then come. And then sometimes you go to these remedial schools and
things they will just...
Yeah, and the person... So you see the person's results are very, very good.
But when you engage the person, you're like, how?
So my dad like this. He says when he gets a student, that maybe the student is coming from a remedial school or from a private school and the student has very good grades, he's very skeptical. Because some of them can't write. and then teaching concepts like they are explaining. So every time
You
that my
have no
father is
idea.
marking, like he's very angry.
Oh, he's tired. Say, how can you go and be teaching kids? So
Exactly.
imagine if this student passes.
Mhm.
He is in the training college.
Mhm.
He has found his way
Mhm.
to pass,
Mhm.
and he is deployed to go and
Yes.
teach at the basic
Yes.
level.
Yes, and then again, I was living at Ebuakwa.
Mhm.
I moved very recently
Mm.
from Ebuakwa, and I see some of these kids going to school, and the government schools, I can see some of them going as late as 9 a.m. And then I'll
Oh.
ask, "Oh, maybe Nana Kwame, why are you going to school now?" He
You
said,
went to fetch water or
"I
something
went to play ball, fetch
in
water."
the morning.
Ah,
He-
so yeah, I really think something is happening at our basic schools that we are not really paying attention to. And then they'll come back and ask them what did they learn today? They'll say, "Oh, Madam Amba," or something.
Charlie.
So at the end of the day, then they have to write WASI, and they'll find a way, and they'll pass the BEC, and they'll go to SHS. SHS too. I think the most attentive level is the basic level. Once you move from JHS to SHS, the attention of your teachers decrease,
Yeah,
because
of course.
now
The-
you
the
are
class-
assumed that it's assumed that you are mature and you
Yes,
should
so
know
it's
when
not.
to.
We'll just give you you just brush
You have
through
to
things.
push
and-
yourself, but
yeah.
some people don't have the foundations. And when I was in SHS, I had a classmate who really liked learning. She will go to class as early, like she'll always be the first person in class.
Wow.
We're supposed to get to, I think morning prep was at 5:30. As early as maybe 3 or so, she's already in class. She'll be the last person to leave evening prep, but then she was always dropping last but one.
Why?
But she was really struggling. So I think I had a conversation with her, and then she was saying that her family, nobody pays attention to whether you've done your homework, not done your homework. They don't really care about education. So it is now that and she was older than most of us. Now that she's old enough that she knows that she has to encourage herself to learn. But then now too, she doesn't have the foundations.
Oh.
And she doesn't have the foundations, because in SHS, when we are doing literature, even English comprehension, and we are reading, they point at you and they expect you to be able to read a paragraph.
Of course.
And she can't. And so she wakes up very early to learn. But the thing that
Imagine if others had that discipline.
Oh.
But
every time I was saying that if I could study as much as that girl.
But there's also another aspect of our education. You know, me when I went to senior high school, the reason why I got interest in media, I had developed the interest even when I was young. Okay, but what cemented that interest was the extra curriculum activities that we used to engage in. Okay, so I was a debater. I became the head of the debating club. We're moving from school to school, having contests, etc. And that opened my eyes to a particular strength that I thought I had. You understand? And I felt that, okay, what are some of the careers that align to this interest or talent or strength? And then I focused on that. I think that if our teachers were to do a lot more of those, because there are people who may be very talented in other aspects of life, that maybe they are not very good. Maybe your friend. Maybe if you watch her carefully, if you pay attention to her, maybe she has some talent. Okay, that if it's focused on, and she's given the attention that she needs, it can become a reason for her to break this poverty, whatever.
And she was also very shy.
Okay, but usually what we do is that it's like your ability to perform in the classroom is what we are interested in. If you're good in football, if you're good at running, if you're good at engaging in drama, it's like those things are. I say, no, forget about those. It's like when you are engaging that, they say you are not even serious.
But that one, I don't entirely blame the teachers or the education system. I think every parent, every guidance should be very interested in the well-being of their wards, right? Because assuming I'm an English teacher, at the end of the day, I'm looking at the results to measure my performance as a teacher. So I want to make sure that every
What-
student in my
that's-
class is performing well in the
Yeah.
subjects that I'm teaching. But then when the child moves home, I think the parents do have to be very careful about how they psych up their children for. Yesterday I was telling my sister that, you see, when you move into maybe your social life and then you see certain people and they are very calm and they are very shy, but sometimes I find it's a little bit irritating. Like, they are so shy that it affects their productivity, like the things that you know that they can just say it, just speak up, and then they can't. And I was telling my sister that right now that I'm like randomly thinking about it, I think those people, they probably had something go wrong in their upbringing. Maybe their parents used to shout at them a lot, because when you have a child and when a child makes a mistake, your first option is to just scream or beat the child, or
So you kill that.
you tame the child.
Yes,
so what
you do.
happens is, when the child steps outside, the child fears that when she makes a mistake, people will come at her, and you don't want to be embarrassed publicly.
Absolutely.
And even in uni, I had mates like that. I had people like
Of
that
course,
who were extremely shy.
There are people, when it is time for presentation, if they can even die, so that.
And in first year, I had a
they
lecturer.
hit it.
He used to randomly point at you. He would say, "Stand up, take the microphone,
And talk.
tell us what you think
People will
about
die.
this."
People.
And then he did that to one girl in I think in one of the classes, and it was an English course. So, and then he's one of those lecturers that you tell him the answer, and then he asks you to explain.
Explain further.
So first of all, maybe someone will whisper the answer and you just
So she answered.
and he's like, defend your answer.
Okay.
And she gave the girl the microphone. The girl took it. Her hand was shaking.
Yes.
Then the lecturer is like, no, you have to talk. Then he's like, say, please, I'm begging you.
Oh.
Say, please, I beg you. Say, please.
Oh.
And the lecturer said, if you don't talk, you walk out of my class.
She did.
The girl started crying. Yeah. So, like, I don't know. Our culture is molded around fear. I don't know. I think
especially when you are
we
young.
equate respect to.
When you are young, but you see,
equate respect
myself,
to fear.
me, I describe myself as a very shy person.
Which is
not-
good,
not very.
but it doesn't
But when I have to speak, I will speak.
exactly.
So it's like me, if I have to say something, I will say it. But then when you see me normally, I'm not the loud. I'm not someone who. But yes, when I was in school, what I used to do, I used not to answer questions, but I'll ask questions. It was for me. Ask for question, maybe sir. Or when you ask questions, I won't answer. And then when it is time for presentation, if I have to come and deliver, I'll deliver. But outside of that, you see me to be very. So a lot of times people come, why you the way you talk, the way you do the presentation, but when you see, it's like you can't even. So there are people like that, but there are also some people who naturally, they talking before public is. In fact, they can even if you like. Tell them to vanish. That is better.
I acknowledge
Yeah,
that.
naturally,
that
some people.
but I don't think anyone should be naturally shy to the point where if you are uncomfortable, you can't voice out that maybe you are hurting me, or I don't like the way you treat me. Or it's bad. And then when you go to uni, in uni, I met the people from international schools, the people
That's
who
why
were
them
home
confidence.
schools. Yeah, and then you realize that
They are
their
very
level of confidence
Sure.
is high as compared to us who
They
went
would
to
challenge. In fact, they can even challenge
the
the
normal
teacher.
system.
Bro,
If you do something and they don't like, they will tell you. And then I even realized that, like, I had a friend, she went to these international schools in Accra. She wrote international exams, and then maybe you are working and then you meet someone. The person will say that, "Oh, can I be your friend?" She'll say no, which is something I can never do.
Yeah.
Say, "Oh, please, can I have your number?"
No, I know.
No.
Straight.
Why are you wearing this? Say, please, it's hot. You see, like, those
Yes,
people
like-
are very vocal and they are very, very
And if guys not
confident
taking you, maybe misconstrue their
as
confidence to be rude.
disrespect. But like, those of us who went through the normal system, there are things that you can't
Yeah,
you can't say.
I think those extra curriculum activities or those extra things, like for instance, we've mentioned some public speaking. I think you need it in every aspect of life. But I'm not too sure if we have sessions in our basic school, senior high school, that intentionally creates that platform for people to express that talent or be able to overcome that weakness that they have when it comes to public speaking and those things that we've mentioned. Because you realize that sometimes it is not the grades that will get you there. It is those extra things that will push you to the level that you want to get to. And that you may have a very fine result. But then, because some of the jobs, and I keep saying it, the last time someone was telling me, she has now completed school, she has secured degree in communication, so she wants to come in because her results are very good. I was like, unfortunately, here it's not the certificate we look at. She was like, so why the certificate? I said, the most important thing is if you can deliver. So I was telling her, I've never applied a job with certificate before. Because in this field, nobody cares about your certificate. Because when they give you the mic and you can't talk, you may have A1 in public speaking or whatever. If you can't speak, nobody will hire you. So it's important that you also pay attention to those extra things.
And then the parents should also encourage their kids.
You're right.
If you're if your child is, let's say, not performing well academically, I believe that the child is already facing the backlash that they are supposed to get in school. So I don't think when the child comes home, you should be screaming.
Sometimes it is frustration. Parents.
I used to chop that to Alpha. When I was in, I won't mention the class, but at a certain stage, I was not.
Class because now you are a first class student. How were you chopping?
At a certain point, I was not.
You were chopping.
I was not at all. I was not performing.
That's all. When you graduated, your sister was like saying this journey is really.
I was not performing
from where you were to first class.
But.
So what changed? At what point did things change?
Oh, very early.
Oh, is it the change of the school?
No, it wasn't the change of the
school. Or your
school.
Parents did something.
I just think maybe I pick up things when I'm interested in.
But you were chopping last now.
Yes. So I was going to
Janice
make the
was
point
chopping
that
last.
Exactly.
No, you serious?
And then but there was never a point where I presented my end of term report to my father, and my father went, "Wabo."
Dear waste of money. He never did that. What was he saying?
Not one time. Maybe my father would say, maybe he open it and maybe I'm 30-second or something. He'll say, "Hey, we did soon." Then he will close it. He will say that next time, if you're able to be maybe 20th, I will buy you ice cream or something.
That was what he was doing.
Yes.
That's really encouraging.
When I was a child, that time to my older sister, she was
good.
She was good.
So she is like, they could have used it. Some parents will say, "Look at your sister. See, go and see you there. Why? What is that?"
But I never had that. They maybe I'll go home. My father is the one who used to pick us up. So, then my father will give me the first reaction that, "Hey, we did those. But next day, would 25.
Oh,
I'll buy something for you." And then we'll get home. Then my mother, then she'll just laugh.
Oh.
But I never. So when I moved to, let's say, class 1, and then people were complaining that they are scared to take their report home, and the teachers will say that don't open it until you get home, and some people will go and hide somewhere and open it.
Yeah, because when you think you chop kings,
and they'll change it. Like, it was very hard for me to understand, but then, like, when I grew up, then I understood that some people, they don't have it easy like that. Like, if you are going home with 30-second, you have to be you have to be scared. Alpha, why are you laughing?
It's like I'm contemplating.
But there are some people that that kind of atmosphere works for them. But my point is,
me as for the school, nobody was even checking my results. But I was competitive though.
But
it's like nobody will come and say they don't. I say if you chop last.
If I'm scoring 20% on a maths test, you can bet your coins on it as a parent that the maths teacher is not happy with me. I'm not his favorite person in the class. You understand? So if I come home and you two, I'm not your favorite person.
And it means like,
you understand?
It's going
so
to be very depressing.
And then you can't go to class and say that, I want to explore drawing. They will say that you are not serious every time you are teaching us, you want to draw. But then at home you can practice.
When there's drama and you are active, there's effect.
Exactly. So
when you come and sit in the classroom, you
parents can create an environment where they can spot the other things that their children are good at.
Because I think that talent is the easiest way to break out of poverty. When you identify your talent at a very early stage and you work at it, you perfect it, you grow it, there's investment in it, and you're lucky to get opportunities to express that talent, it is easier to break out of poverty through that than other things. So you talk about people who are musicians. There are some musicians who are now very, very well to do. That if not for that talent called music, life would have been very challenging for them.
At one point, I think Thames, you know Thames, right? The Nigerian.
Yes,
Thames was saying that she used to work in a corporate field, and they used to shout at her because they said she was too slow, and she spoke at a slow pace.
And
she's like,
corporate is we are in a hurry.
Is.
Yeah, things must move faster.
But then when she moved out of there, is that slow boy that is
now those people will be chasing her for autographs, for pictures. So assuming if she had been confined in that area, maybe the corporate field would have been a very serious failure for her.
Yeah.
But she moved to a comfort zone, which is the talent she had, and now she is who she is. Imagine the footballers we have. Some of them were chopping lads in the classroom. Some of them, they were teachers were telling them you're good for nothing. You can never achieve anything. But today, they are the ones we call celebrities. And now when they come out, whatever they say is news. And you that you've learned, you've become something, nobody even cares about you. So I think that if, just like you said, yes, it's good to be academically good, but parents must also pay attention to the talent of the awards. Because when you identify the talent at a very early stage and you put in enough resources, you invest in it, you help the child to grow that talent, you have no idea where that talent is going to lead that kid. And maybe your family or the foundation of the family will be transformed as a result of that talent. Because there are many footballers who have now built for their parents. And when they were playing football, leaving classroom to go and play football, they were insulting them. So you're a kubolo, you are good for nothing.
One of my lecturers, he says that he's very sure he would have made it as a footballer. He's a lecturer now, but he was very good when he was playing football. But
they will say the parents say you want good for that, you are going to play football. So we need to strike a balance.
Exactly.
Let him do what he's doing regarding his talent, and also combine it with classroom. Don't say leave that and focus on this
and
alone.
Don't leave the entirety of the well-being of your children to teachers.
You're right. You have to. In fact, you are a major, shareholder when it comes to progress of your kids. So you can't say I paid.
You know, there are kids like I've in JHS and upper primary. There were kids where they found teachers who were trying too hard, very annoying. Like if the teacher is making sure you've done your homework, the teacher is always coming to class. Yeah. Extra classes.
Yes, checking. No, they will say, "Are you why?"
Exactly, because
you are too serious every day. Oh, in fact, we used to have some teachers when I was at, I think primary. We had a teacher who, apart from what he would teach in the classroom, he will form groups of students based on your proximity. So let's say you are in Abuaka, somebody is at whatever. You find the students in those areas. You form a group. They will say every evening go to this center and do group studies at primary. So he will form another group. So we had groups. And you know what he does? Every evening he will be lurking and then monitoring if indeed you are doing what he has tasked you to do. And then when you come back the next day, you say you were not part of the group. What happened? He will lash you. And so beyond what he was teaching in the classroom, he was you can see this was a teacher who was overly motivated.
Exactly.
It's like he was too interested in the well-being of, but these days I'm not too sure a lot, and people can't even have time to do that.
Maybe they are, but I don't know. Because I used to have a teacher, and then let's say he does a test. The people who perform, let's say bottom 5, bottom 10 after school, he'll say stay behind. I want to teach you all over again.
Oh, wow.
And it will shock you that
the students will run. Yeah. You
see that the people who are performing well
would rather stay
behind
and add to.
Then the bottom 5, they want to run away and go in lane. But then, as I was saying, I think the educational sector is multifaceted. So after you go through your 4 years of tertiary education and you come out, there are certain things that we believe should change your mindset. You should think a particular way. So if you are an SHS graduate and you drop sachet water on the floor, I see you to be very some way. Like
It's like the school didn't go through.
yeah,
You just went through the
I
school.
look at you in a very weird
And you are
way.
shocked. Why would you do that?
And go to uni, and then after eating, you put your takeaway pack on the
Charlie.
floor, and you can
Seriously.
just, you are in a car, you can
And you are
just
comfortable. People
can
are
throw
comfortably doing it.
garbage outside
Yeah.
your.
So you are saying that
you some way.
education must refine your behavior.
Exactly.
So
And you know, sanitation is a part of the measures that they use to measure.
it is. They
multidimensional
it's very
poverty.
important. Very
Yeah.
important. So what we've said is that education is not a terrible thing. So even though it's now becoming difficult that somebody will finish school and boom, he's rich. But the argument is that based on the data that we've been reading, when you go to school or when you are educated, at least if you've secured a degree or you've secured a tertiary education, you are likely to be out of poverty as compared to those who did not get that level of education. So education is good. We're trying to make the point that for you to move out of this poverty that we've described, education matters. Your education can change your circumstances. The other thing we've talked about is that whilst education is good, we are also urging all the sector players that we should also make sure that what we teach in the classrooms are relatable. We should find local examples. We should find local concepts, local theories, and teach our kids with these theories so that the appreciation will be much better. And the other thing we've also talked about is that don't just focus on the grades. Focus on the talent of your kids or the words as well. Because sometimes it is the talent that will do the magic, not the grades. Do you understand? There are people who are financially independent today, not because they had the best of grades, but because somebody helped them to, of course, hone their talent, invest in the talent, and now the talent is the reason why the entire family is out of poverty. So don't just say, oh, you there, focus on the classroom, he's going to play football, you're angry, you're shipping him, she's going to dance, she's dancing to the music, like, she's going, no, some of those things too are important. So strike a balance. Let them be able to do or to express their talent whilst also focusing on what is being taught in the classroom. And we've also said that teachers are key. The way that we are being taught and the things that we are being taught is also very, very important. There are some students who will start very poor, but with different teaching skills or style, things begin to change. And this morning, Janice gave us two examples, herself and then her friend's example. In fact, myself, I told you that I was very terrible at maths. When I see maths problem, I run. In fact, I was terrible. In fact, I am terrible. Okay, no, I was. Because at least my last my last example suggests that maybe it's not me. Maybe the teachers also contributed to that. So the way that they are taught is also very important. And by Janice's example, when your kids are chopping last, quote and unquote, don't be too hard on them. Don't be punishing them, calling them names. More or less declaring them as useless, as whatever. I know there's frustration in the system. You're breaking your back to pay the fees. So when the results are not good, you are likely to use those kinds of things. But take your time. Sometimes kids can transform. Just like Janice did, just like I did, just like others did. So your kid can also be transformed depending on the support you give to him or her and how you collaborate with the teachers to ensure that she's getting the right kind of education. These are very important things that I think we need to focus on. These will be the summaries of what we've talked about so far. Later we'll try and speak to our lawyer friend because we had wanted to. But this conversation has, sometimes when we begin to talk, by the time we realize time is far gone. But let's listen to this voice note. And
Alpha, good morning. A life man fashion. Alpha teachers in the Bimukun your spirit. I quite remember when I was in class 2, class 6. Now your teacher you group ye what teacher class nim umu ya de tia umu ya de kakratia umu ya isu kakratia. Na we rema no aka ya benfo yeso ya ben kakra. Ye de ya potokra. So imagine say teacher ni wa school na wa teacher class no obi guram no chia. Na ye ya sorry no waka ya benfo. Na next rule so sorry yeso ya ben kakra. Na chese ya nko yi ne de ya chere say
Oh,
yeah, they are potokra, cool
photograph.
spirit. But God be so good. You have man and the mom, as I say, I'm a baby, they are co-investing. Yeah, this was it. Compounds and it knows in the county, but obey the day. I find teachers knows you so cool your spirit. Amen.
Oh, Janice, did you experience this? I think in my school we had that. They had rules for like they're being fun. They had a particular yes. We some teachers did that.
Oh, when
It
I
looks
got
like
to
it's not a good thing, oh. Maybe they did that to create competition so that you move from that row and come here.
I was in this school, but fortunately for me at the time I was doing well. So, but
So
then we
you
used
were
to
in
do
the
ABC. So
yeah
the C people
ABCs.
are
The C people are the bon karat, and then the
yeah,
and the AO they there.
But then they explained it this way that if there are people who they understand things fast, and there are
So they
people who are
wanted
slow,
to,
so they want
so
to
they know
give
how
more
to
attention
attend to.
But then
but
now, cause our parents were like, no,
it's
because
like you are
let's say
segregating.
if you are in JHS, peer influence at the time is high.
Yeah.
So if you put all of them in one class,
It means they
the
will
chances
continue
that
to
the
bond.
good students will influence the bad students are high. But then if you segregate the bad students in one class,
maybe they should have paired the good ones with some of the bad ones. That okay, you pair with this so that by the other person you can have an influence.
That is true. That is also very true. Now you see that, and then in JHS we saw that a lot. That this boy was
he was good, but
then he started working with this one.
Yeah,
and
man, I realized Charlie, serious. But let's pick some of your calls. 0541022318. What do you make of what we've been talking about this morning? We've talked about the data that talked about education being a difference maker in terms of fighting against poverty, and then it led us to so many things. Good morning.
Good morning, Alfa.
Yes, BY, talk to us.
Alfa, you see, our type of.
Hello? Hello, BY.
Hello, Alpha.
Yes, can you hear me?
Is it better? Hello?
Yes, go on. I'm listening.
Yeah, I was talking about how we've gone through several reforms to meet the test of time, but still we are where we are. Because the point is that we need to go through certain concepts that will make our students very, very productive after whatever level that they come at. We should encourage the vocational and technical education. You see, the point is that some of these kids, they have talents from the day they entered maybe a formal education. But they won't be diverted because all the children, all that they are learning is about literacy, numeracy, and problem solving. Please, the point is that those days, when you enter into middle school education, that time they call it continuation school, at the middle school in the 80s. You go through shoemaking, dressmaking, and other things. I tell you, some of them, when they even could not go to secondary school, after middle school, they were very productive in the society and they were very resourceful. Meaning that what they thought they could learn was what they learned in school. So when they came out, they built on that. And today, we are talking about teachers not being committed. Some of them are very committed. Others are very lackadaisical in their approach to teaching. Some parents are also being same. Some parents have relegated the education of their children to the background. Why are they doing that? They have disconnected the house from the school. But those days, the house and the school was connected. So every parent or guardian will know exactly how the child is faring in school. We need to bring that back. And what the gentleman was talking about, that this thing, they call it teaching, they call it group ability. You have to group children based on what? Their ability. And when you're able to do that, then you can select those from group C to group B. Those who will be very serious in class. Everybody will want to be part of the group A. So by grouping them, it will serve as a motivation for those who are serious to learn to move from group B to C. So it's a method of teaching. Group ability is a method of teaching.
Thank you very much, BY, for joining us this morning. And that's the submission of BY there. You can also call me on 0541 022 318. Good morning.